Good morning, good morning, good morning again, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. Hey, according to theme, managed to spill some tea on my jeans, on top of the part of the jeans that were already wet. Yay for me! I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers and a warning. As per usual, Dr. Matthew Israel is going to harp on the MDRI about how we're just prejudiced against aversive therapy. You're damn right we are, doctor. Would you like to know why? Because most of us have studied history, torture. We've studied the things that turn people stupid and spawn things such as the Nazi Party or the fucking mega bastards, alright? We have weird, warped senses every once in a while. We like to study some real messed up subjects on occasion. Alright? Why would we have a bias off of this? I'm going to tell you. Because everybody knows torture is an ineffective method. It doesn't last long. It only works as long as the fear is there. When you remove the fear, guess what happens? Exactly. Our so-called bias is based off of the facts of history, medical documents, and psychologist studies done on the subject. We know it doesn't work long term. That's where it begins. Now let's add into the fact that we are looking at this individual who is specifically targeting, as a part of his weird ass Auschwitz level experiment, those he deems that society would miss the least. What he would consider the throwaways. People like me. People like Jennifer Masumba. People like Andre McCollums. And Lydia Brown. And all of us who oppose this insane bullshit. But he has a target within a target. This is what's interesting. He specifically targets those who either refuse to or are unable to mask ourselves and pretend to be neurotypical. Oh, but it gets better. There's even more of a niche that he targets. In particular, having studied this case 14 years, it appears to me that the majority of the people he puts on this device aren't just disabled. No. Not just those who either refuse to mask or it's impossible for them to mask. No. It becomes even more insidious. He specifically targets students of color. Okay? He targets them specifically. Does most of his marketing in poor neighborhoods where the majority of the population are people of color who do not have access to the other programs and different treatments and resources that, say, someone like myself had access to. And he's going to swoop in, right? He's going to come save the day. And then they don't realize what's actually going on until it's too late. So, why do we have a bias against this? On the most technical of terms, we know torture doesn't work as a form of behavior modification. And the reason why it doesn't work is the reasons as to why the behavior is happening. What's triggering all this never gets dealt with. Instead, you are punishing us for the side effects instead of getting to the root of the issue. So when you remove the fear that was being used to stop the behaviors, what remains? The issue that was never dealt with, and now we got psychological trauma on top of it. Makes for a bad mixture, folks. And then he says, but they get worse when you take this life-saving treatment away from them. With dishonesty, folks. Complete dishonesty. Because why do these kids get worse than ever they had been before they ever came to the JRC? It's because of what he did to them. Okay? It's cause and effect. Cause and effect. But let's continue on, shall we? An examination of the sources that are cited as the basis for much of the information in this report, as well as of the staff and leadership of the MDRI, demonstrates that the authors of this report started with a pre-existing bias against the use of aversives, and that the investigation was essentially a process of looking only for negative information about the JRC and aversives, regardless of the credibility of the sources of the information, and only interviewing people that they knew would make negative accusations. Here's some of the evidence. Okay, doctor. I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you. This is what people like Dr. Matthew Israel, Autism Mommy TM like to do. They like to discount us. It's real cute. You can't believe them. They're autistic. Don't you know, if you read ABA, you'll see that they're manipulators and they're liars. And they're just attacking us for no reason at all. And they were just against us before they even started. They weren't looking at any evidence that shows how effective we are. It's not effective when it doesn't work long term, doctor. Let's talk about career honesty, shall we? You have admitted yourself that when the fear is removed, the old behaviors come back. That's not successful. Okay? It's not even close to being successful. That is, folks, is a joke. Okay? That's what that is. As far as you were just digging for all the bad information, I'm going to show it again. I have a feeling I might be showing it through the rest of these arguments since this asshole doesn't seem to get it. Nothing but negative information, right, doctor? Nothing but just accusations. Doctor, as an individual who does not form an opinion until I see hard evidence, I'm not just going after you because it's fucking Tuesday and I'm bored. Alright? It's hard evidence. Look at this. Look at it. It's not just testimonies and accusations, doctor. Civil trial coverage. Let's see here. U.S. state government agencies. U.S. federal government agencies. U.S. court casing involving the JRC. The UN, independent non-profit, non-governmental organization reports and letters. Let's see here. News articles. Scholarly This is from the psychiatrists, the psychologists, and the neurologists, folks. What is this showing us here? Oh, but wait, there's more. Let's see here. This was the update. And we're going to go through it here, shall we? That's Jennifer Masumba. Jennifer Masumba gave us a gift, doctor. One that the MDRI got access to. Her medical sheet. Shockable offenses. You know, when you remember when you told us, doctor, that you only do it when it's extreme behaviors? That little sheet there says that's a lie. Let's see here. All of this, these are blog posts. Here we go here. These are all the news articles. This was the civil trial back in 2012 where the door got blown wide open. Andre McCollum's GED shock recording sheet. Funny that. Just a bias, right? Oh, but there's more. The Massachusetts Attorney General's Office, the Massachusetts Department of Developmental Services. Let's see here. The investigation report into the death of Linda Cornelison. Massachusetts Department of Education. The Massachusetts Disabled Persons Protection Commission. It came from the state of Massachusetts. The Massachusetts Executive Office of Health and Human Services. The New York State Education Department. The California Department of Social Services. District of Columbia Office of the Attorney General. U.S. Senate and House of Representatives. The FDA. Lots of stuff from the FDA. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. The U.S. National Council on Disability. The United States Mission of the United Nations and other international organizations in Geneva. You're seeing all of this, right? Right? Means your argument is jack, doctor. As shown in a previous article, the MDRI, as a matter of fact, did indeed read those responses, those parent opinions, your data reports, everything that we had access to get our hands on to read your side of the argument. The problem with that is your arguments do not make fucking sense. Not even back in the era when you wrote this shit did it make any sense. Okay? There is no room for practical application of adversives in this world, okay? There are thousands of different treatment programs out there to choose from. The fact that we have individuals like Matthew Israel bucking predators wearing white coats that are able to use these poorer communities as a way to fund their egotism is a failure on us as a society. Why aren't there access to these communities? Why isn't there clinics in these poorer communities that these parents can have access to? Why are we allowing for someone like this to come in and do the horrific things that he does, when we could instead use all that money that's donated every fucking April and put resources, doctors, treatment plans, neurologists in these people's hands? Billions of dollars. We can't do that? Yeah. About that, right, doctor? So, doctor, no, it's not just about negative accusations with no evidence. As you can see there, we clearly gathered evidence from California, from Rhode Island, from Massachusetts, from the DESI reports, the surveillance footage. You know, the one you got caught with the very year you wrote with when you were telling them to destroy evidence? Yeah, about that, right. You're not the victim, doctor. You're not even close to being the victim. You are the predatory monster who targets us specifically because you know society as a whole doesn't give a shit about us. And then you got caught. But unfortunately, your fucking insane pseudoscience has managed to enthrall your acolytes, who continue to this day the bad medicine that you taught them. We're going to go ahead and close out on that. Mr. Kitty's being a comfort kitty. He's a good boy. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So if you could, folks, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit those comments. I do appreciate your time. As always, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.